everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's not been a good week for transgender people here in the United States. It seems our country is at war with us for no good reason, other than to scapegoat us for all their problems, you know. This happened once before in a place called Berlin, 1933. They had a large transgender population. In fact, they had the world's first gender center. It was based in Berlin. It was founded by a doctor who actually performed the first SRS surgeries. And they did quite a few of those back then. So, you know, Berlin had a pretty decent population of people. And that institute had been there for like 20 years, so they were able to collect a vast amount of data. And then the Nazi stormtroopers showed up and they burned it all to the ground and arrested everybody, and those they didn't beat to a pulp and kill that night, well, they got hauled off to Dachau and never seen again. Very sad way to end for them. And well, seems like our government wants to repeat history, only now we're the fucking people they want to kill. They want to use ICE to target us, and it makes me sick because we already know, I mean, everybody knows what ICE is doing now. I mean, they don't give a shit. You're an American citizen, you could be a veteran, you could be disabled, they don't care. They love to tell you they don't care because these guys are thugs. They're not real police officers. I don't recognize their authority, so fuck them. But yeah, and fuck their leadership and this fucking regime. You know, I mean, our lives were difficult to begin with. You Republicans have passed 736 anti-trans bills for 2026, and it's only fucking March. What the fuck? What do we do to you? Nothing. You're just, you know, you didn't give it a rat's ass about us 3 years ago. And then somebody got, I would suspect it was the gun lobby that got you interested in going after drag queens because, hey, they were convenient, but the problem was you couldn't find enough of them, so you turned to us. And you've been relentless in your attacks, and you keep encouraging more people to join the fight and pouring more gasoline on it, and then the president is out there throwing more gasoline on the fire, and we're exhausted. I mean, this is just like nonstop. You know, we got nonstop harassment, nonstop threats, and some people are getting hurt. And not only that, but not just our people, but people that maybe don't define what some people think what a woman's supposed to be like. I don't know, but you know, as I said before, femininity is not the sole domain of biological women. Some women have it, some don't, just like masculinity. Some men have it, some don't. And frankly, I didn't like being called a beta male, but you know, I don't think that, I never did get called that. I got called a girl of my whole fucking life. I've been called a girl, you know, mostly to insult me. So it's kind of ironic now that the very people that want to call me a man were the same ones that called me a girl my whole life. And now that I'm actually legally living as one, yeah, yes, judges signed my court orders and granted my petitions. I did it legally, like every other trans person does. We had to amend our birth certificates, you know, because you have to reflect the life you're living now. I mean, this idea that you must accurately represent who you were at birth. Please, have you ever met? I mean, I want to ask you, motherfuckers. Okay, I just want to ask: has anyone ever met someone in this country, real ID, doesn't matter what state, driver's license, that has their baby picture on it? You know how ridiculous that sounds? Yeah. Well, that's what you're doing with us. You made this ridiculous standard. I mean, it is ridiculous, and you know, particularly like what you guys did to our people in Kansas. That was fucked up. You know, you're trying to get people fired from their jobs. You're trying to get people evicted from their homes. You want them to become homeless, and you want to be able to slam doors on them, and then you get to say, it's Miller time. Eat shit and die. Each and every one of you fucking Republicans who wish this upon us. We didn't do anything to you. Neither did they. You know, we don't deserve this. We're your fellow Americans, whether you like us or not. And you know what? Especially those people that are sitting on the sides and say, well, I don't want to get involved. Oh, this doesn't affect me. Well, actually, I don't know any transgender person. Oh, actually, maybe I do, but I haven't checked on them because, I've been busy, whatever your excuse is. Don't be those Germans that the American soldiers got confronted outside Dachau, brushing human ash off their shoulders and saying, I didn't know. Bullshit. We're telling you now, because only you can prevent this. They're calling it transgenocide, and quite possibly it might happen. With ICE now after us, it's come to light in the last 24 hours that the Department of Homeland Security is building about almost 24 concentration camps to detain immigrants that they think are criminals or here illegally. Of course, they're going to snag a lot of Americans. They're going to rough them up. They're going to smash their windows, and they're not going to pay for any of it. Assholes. They deprive people of their medications. They, quite a few people have already now died in their custody, and they just don't fucking care, But this is the part that gets scary. They have now contracted and built with the United States Navy industrial-sized incinerators, one for each one of their camps. What does that tell you? The last place that ordered that size of an incinerator that wasn't for a military purpose was Auschwitz, Birkenau, Sobibor, Buchenwald, Ravenswald. Wake the fuck up, people. They don't just spend, $12 billion buying incinerators large enough to make 100 people at a time burn up and leave no trace of their existence. They don't just do that unless they plan to do that. And, I've waited my whole life to be me. And it was a very unhappy journey to get here, but I finally got here, and a year ago I hit my equilibrium and my trans joy, and for the first time in my life I was happy. There's a Mexican philosophy, and my wife hates it, because she says it's not true. But if you ever wonder why some Mexicans never look happy, they always look angry or bitter, you know what that's about? It's a defense mechanism, because they say, don't let anyone see you happy, because then they will steal your happiness from you. And God damn it, I declared to the world that I was happy for the first time in my life. I was filled with joy and love, and the world seemed to be in love with me at that moment, and it was wonderful. And then these motherfucking white men with hairs up their asses. Why is it important to you that we either be killed or forced to detransition? What does that mean? You didn't accept us as men to begin with. You didn't want us in the boys' club. So why do you want us back? What, so you can kick us around some more? What you're doing to us is pretty fucking evil, And if there's a new Nuremberg and I survive this, I want to get front seats, because I want to see you motherfuckers hang for what you're doing. Because what you're doing is fucking evil, And there's probably a special place in hell for you, But you don't have to believe in God to understand that concept, Bad things happen to bad people. But unfortunately, in this wicked world, good people can also fall victim to the whims and desires of those who have forsaken their humanity to be cruel or to exuberant greed, lust, desire. I don't want any of that shit. I just, I want to go out to my clubs, dance to my music, wear my cute doll dresses, and or my Chanel gear or my Lolita stuff. I just want to have fun. I'm almost 60 years old, and I guess you could say I'm a late bloomer, as far as trans people go. Well, I'm a trans femme, so my objectives are a little different than your average, male, female, transgender woman. And, regardless of what path, trans people are on, the sad reality is we're all being targeted unfairly. I mean, it's 3.9 million of us, just roughly the same exact population numbers as the population of the state of Hawaii. None of us understand why you're doing this to us. Why are you trying to come after? You didn't care about us 3 years ago. You didn't even know we existed. Now we're publicly enemy number one. You're supposed to be working to help the people, help them get their taxes lowered, or help bring food prices down, or oil prices down, whatever. It's like solve problems, get those potholes filled. No, your number one priority is to come after people that haven't done anything to you, the most vulnerable, marginalized group, in the country. We make up less than 1%. And I pray that you are not going to be using those incinerators to kill us, and let it be known to those people who are going to sit on the sidelines and kind of hope it happens, or maybe not. Whatever the case may be, even if they kill each and every one of us, the same thing will happen like what happened in 1946. You know what happened? 1 year after the right collapsed, a whole new generation of people just like us were born. Wasn't so obvious because there's no way to tell who's going to be trans or who's not. I mean, some men just, maybe they become cross-dressers for a while, and work it out. And then some people, they get into a fetish world and that's their thing and stuff. But, or they, maybe they like to drag, and that's fine, whatever, that's how you make your money. But the rest of us, we knew we were supposed to be who we are, and no group of cis white males or people who are clinging to a religious dogma or political ideology has any business interfering with medical decisions or our personal bodily autonomy. You don't get to decide. You should not have no say in our personal affairs. But you're trying, and you're succeeding in a lot of places, and you're making our lives very difficult, and between those you kill and those who will take their lives, and believe me, the suicide rates go to skyrocket, because you just don't understand what beautiful people you are destroying. What a culture. You could have gone your whole life and not even look at us twice, and it wouldn't have changed anything for you. Nothing. You're doing this for nothing. But you know what? As a Buddhist, I love to remind people about the concept of karma. What you put out comes back to you. And so, all this hate, this evil, it will find you. And maybe after we're gone. But then, again, trans people have always existed. We will continue to exist. We're part of the human experience. We are found in every country, in every part of the world. So don't think that, I think what your big problem is, you people seem to believe that this is just some behavior we're just doing pretend. This is not an actual thing. This is something you can correct with just enough voltage, shock treatment, or lobotomies, or forced conversion therapy. No, we don't need no dead alien Jesus. I don't need that shit. I don't want that shit. You can't force me to worship your God, especially since I know he's an extraterrestrial. And no, it's just not going to happen. Well, these bad things happen. But right now, it's scary. This is a scary time for us. And I mean, I dread this idea that they have these incinerators and they're planning to put people in them. I guarantee you, one day they'll find out those things and there'll be a human remains in them, and there'll be a lot to answer for. Again, there's a special place in hell for these people. He who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it, and things didn't end very well for the Nazis. It definitely won't end well for Donald Trump or the MAGA movement if they could go through with this. Again, we're not your enemy, but what you're doing to us is cruel, it's evil, it's unjust, and it speaks volumes about who you people are. The ugliness, the vileness, all this darkness. That's not what life is for. It's supposed to, witchcraft, we say, do what thou wilt, harm to none, love is the law. And you know what? That's a good creed to live by. Just consider it. Well, that's been my rant for tonight. To all my trans brothers and sisters out there, stay strong, stay vigilant, avoid any ICE encounters if you can. Again, breathe, be cool, don't engage the enemy. Do not antagonize them. They got too much power right now and things can end badly. Those of you in red states, if you can find a way to get out or take advantage of some of the multiple charities that are trying to help evacuate, please do so, because you may not get another chance if you can. I know it's hard, especially if you're impoverished. Reach out. I mean, I want you all to live so we can all have a good laugh about this a few years from now. But I'm afraid some of us aren't going to make it. And, well, this has just been one ugly dystopian nightmare I want to wake up from. Oh God, it was just a bad dream. Just a bad dream. But Donald Trump is in the White House. Yeah, 34 felonies for fraud. Nobody put him in jail. The 14th Amendment was supposed to prevent him from getting back into office, but Judge Alito and Long Dong Silver made it possible. Gave this guy so much power, and now they can't control him and his movement. You're destroying everything that was good about America. And don't come at us and say, no, we're sexual deviants or we're predators. No, we're none of those things. You fucking know it. We're always victimized by you. We've been victimized by you as children. We were victimized as you as young adults. And now, nearing my senior years, you're still trying to victimize me. Well, fuck you. You're what's killing America. You're not. If you think by preserving a white minority is the way, no, there's a better way. It's called love. Well, I'm no fan of, I'm not a part of the Dead Judean Carpenter Society. Jesus did say, love thy neighbor, and you guys are failing big time. So, ditch the crosses, unless you plan on burning one, I guess. I don't know, or hanging from one. Ditch the crosses, because you're not living up to his ideals. You're not being Christians. You are failing as human beings by participating in this. You shouldn't do this to anyone. Hey, I don't like rednecks, but I wouldn't organize a group to write laws to prevent them from living. Live and let live. Why can't you just fucking let us live? Most of you will never run into one of us unless you live in a big city, or know what to look for. And even then, you still wouldn't know what to do. So why all the hate? Why all the vitriol? Why all the harassment? Why? Again, This is a tragedy in the making, and I hope there's still time that maybe, just maybe, we can come out of this alive. But that's going to be up to you. This has been Ava Death Dolly. This has been my rant for tonight. Be good to each other. Remember, love is the law.